Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Rigetti computing. It is time for another update, and today we will be discussing the relevant levels of resistance that must be broken for a signal that we have indeed bottomed here within this structure, not necessarily the wave 4, as well as the relevant levels of support that we need to hold here internally within this area to still look for additional highs with high probabilities. But before we get there, I would like to go quickly through the larger time frame for any of you who might be new. And here we are looking for a larger leading diagonal to be forming from the all-time low, where here we have our initial wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, and now we are looking for the third wave to the upside. Now, I have to say, within this wave 3, we have already reached sufficient extensions, so we don't technically need any additional highs within the larger wave 3, but the internal structure actually is telling me that we should prefer additional extensions. Within this structure I am looking for an ABC pattern to be unfolding, in which case I would still like within this wave C to form another fifth wave to the upside. Now, there are interpretations that would allow me to consider a more significant top already being in place for this wave 3, but as long as we hold here the relevant area of support for this correction in the wave 4, I will continue to look for extensions here within this fifth wave to the upside, within another ABC movement to complete this overall wave C. Now, we won't be focusing on these interpretations at all until we break the area of support between the $35 all the way down to the $15.6 level. So far, we have broken below the 38.2% retracement, and we have gotten nearly to the 50% retracement, but I have to say we may have actually already found a bottom within this wave 4 correction. And in the previous video, I have provided you a path, a plan in which we could have seen multiple extensions lower, and we may still see additional lows within this area, but my main point is that I don't really need them anymore. I am more open to the idea of already having a bottom in place. In the previous video, I was looking with quite high likelihood for further extensions lower, but now, especially within this extension that we have gotten within this internal wave 4, I am actually much more open to having the internal wave 3 bottom already in place and have this as the wave 4 top that has unfolded instead, where I can even remove this internal count, and I may consider now this fifth wave to the downside complete. Now, this is one of the interpretations that could allow a bottom being in place, but again, I need to see some levels of resistance broken for a more clear signal. For example, if this third wave has actually only extended to those levels and that we may still need a fourth and a fifth to unfold. Now, in this case, I will be tracking this as a secondary scenario because, again, I have enough waves to the downside to consider this pattern complete, and I am much more open to the idea of the fifth wave to the upside already unfolding. In that case, I can even start looking here for an internal 1-2 setup, an initial 1-2 setup, but I want to remind you, from a large time frame perspective, I am looking for a fifth wave as part of a larger ending diagonal to the upside within a wave C. And that means that within this fifth wave to the upside, I only need an ABC structure. And within an wave A, which is the first wave that we are going to track within this larger wave 5 to the upside, we don't need to build a 5-wave structure. So while it may work out that we build here some internal 5-wave moves to the upside, it doesn't need to be the case. I will be tracking here a first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will be tracking this pattern initially, but this may unfold as something like an ABC. This could be a wave 1. We could get another ABC structure in a wave 2, and then so on in a larger leading diagonal in a wave A. That could work out, or it could indeed form a 5-wave pattern, but I don't necessarily have the evidence just yet. And by the way, there are even other ways it could unfold within. I won't go through all of them right now because, again, the A wave could be a 3-wave move. We could have a larger ABC to be marked as the wave A. We don't need to form a 5-wave move. Now, internally in this area to the upside so far, we haven't formed a clear 5-wave pattern. That isn't necessarily a positive thing. It is actually a signal that this structure has better chances of actually extending lower than necessarily pushing higher. But from a larger time frame perspective, I'm looking from a larger time frame perspective where I am considering a bottom being more likely in place. Now, in that case, we can still look for a possible area of support for the wave 2 with the caveat, the reminder, that this structure may need to be considered only a 3-wave move to the upside. And again, I do want to make it clear, this is on the very small time frame. I could easily consider this a 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the 5th, and even like this, 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the 5th. It could work out no problem within a leading diagonal, for example. And I really don't want to get into the internals of such a pattern on such a small time frame, which is why we will focus here on the area of support for the wave 2 between the $24.4 all the way down to the $22 level. And as long as we hold here the 78.6% retracement, we can still look with higher likelihood than, if we break that level, for at least another wave to the upside. Now, depending on how that additional waves unfolds, we may be looking for a follow-up wave 4 and a 5th wave, but that heavily depends on the structure that follows this bottom that may be formed within this area. And with that said, there isn't much else to add. Maybe here on the very short time frame, we can note that we have pushed into the 50% retracement, which has provided very significant support so far, but I don't necessarily have a structure that indicates a likely bottom just yet. I could consider this an ABC structure that could be complete, but within this possible 1-2 setup, we have already retraced quite deep, and I don't necessarily have too high hopes for this pattern. But again, it is on a very tiny time frame. This could be the atomic time frame considered here basically, and the structure is heavily unreliable. It could be considered full of distortions on such small time frames. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.